So let's talk about a couple of things. So the first question is, well, why was Paul sent to Rome? Give you a couple of minutes to kind of think about that. And if you want to put me on pause, you can. If you're going over this with family members or friends and you want to talk about it, feel free to put me on pause. But I'm going to talk a little bit about this here. So Paul was a Roman citizen, and the Bible says that he was accused of some crimes. They were false allegations, but he still was entitled to go plead his case. And so Paul was a Roman citizen, so he was able to make an arrangement to go hear his case in Rome. So this is why this whole ship incident happened. Paul was trying to get to Rome to plead his case. All right, question number 2. So they sailed for a little while, actually kind of meandered through a series of islands that they mentioned on the video, and they came to a port. Does anybody remember the port that Paul wanted to stay in? Think about that a minute. They got to an island and he said, hey, let's stay here. All right, well, if you came up with, the island was called Crete, and the harbor there was called Fair Havens. So that was the spot where Paul wanted to stay. He thought that as winter was coming on, this was going to be a bad situation to try and go out into the ocean and continue up to Rome. Well, so let's talk about that. What is a scary situation for you? These guys were getting ready to head out into the open waters in the winter, and that ended up being very scary for them. What is a situation that is scary for you right now? Take a minute and think about that again. If you want to put me on pause, do that. I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the situations that we have going on right now, like this whole COVID thing. Like my character, Papa J, he was worried, he was scared. There are different times. So you may be experiencing that. We're kind of wondering, hey, when are things going to go back to normal? What is normal? Will I be able to play with the friends that I normally get to? What about school? Will I be able to go back to school? So we have lots of kind of concerning questions, and a lot of the answers are, well, we don't really know because things are evolving each day. But in this, as Paul faced death, which is very scary, he was also part of in this, what we'll call a storm. He was in a physical storm. We maybe are in a storm of life right now. So we can say that, yeah, we're going through a trial right now. We're going through a storm. Mama Kay sometimes talks about that song, in the hills and in the valleys, right? Well, this is a valley to a lot of us. There may be other things. Maybe you're not affected by this at all. Maybe, though, there are other things like friends or loss of friends or someone's bullying. We have those type of storms. So one thing that we always want to remember is that we do have the promise of God. God says, I am with you. And we can always rest assured in that. Okay. All right. Last question here. This one, remember in the video, there was the angel of God came to Paul. And what did he tell Paul? What did the angel tell Paul? Again, put me on pause if you want to. And we'll come back. Okay, so that the angel told Paul he had good news and some bad news, right? The good news was that everyone was going to survive. The bad news was that they were going to be shipwrecked. So that's a pretty scary situation. Hey, if you have the choice of hearing good news or bad news, is there one that you like to hear first? Do you always like to hear the good news first, or do you always like to hear the bad news first? That we're all different. We all want it a little bit different. So that's something that you can think about. Okay, lastly, let's go into our memory verse for today. And I don't know if you have a copy of this. There may be one that you had printed out, but the one that we're going to go over today is out of Acts. So this comes from Acts 27. So it's Acts chapter 27, verse 25. And so I'm going to read it to you the first time, and then we'll go through it one more time. So when we do a memory verse, we like to say where it comes from. It's where it originates. So this is out of Acts. So we say Acts 27:25, and it says, "So take heart, men, for I have faith in God that it will be exactly as I have been told." Again, out of Acts 27:25. Go ahead and put me on pause if you want. See if you can go through that. See if you can get that memory verse down. Okay, we do have a game to follow, so hang in there. Try the memory verse once or twice, and then we'll go do our game and we'll wrap it up. Okay, see you in just a bit.